A lot of people call UWC a home where you stay for 2 years, where you have the best times of your life and also kind of the worst times of your life. Over the past 2 years, I have grown immensely as a person. Sometimes I look back and I forget the old Gizem that used to exist. I look back and I'm like, wow, who is she? What has happened? And there's a lot of happy moments, also a few sad, also a few upsetting. But I'm more than happy to explain. There was a lot of laughing, crying, gratitude over the past 2 years. One thing that I like about myself is that I've always captured them through a phone or through my camera. And this might be the last video I make about UWC USA, or at least on the campus of UWC USA. And I'm okay with that. Let's reflect on my experience. When I think about UWC USA, I think about a lot of options and opportunities that you can do throughout your full 2 years. When you first get here as a first year, for a lot of us, especially me, it was my first time outside of my house, like living on my own. When you get introduced to a place where there's so much going on all the time, you don't know what to choose and when to choose it or how to do it. How am I going to balance school, social life and sleep? I still don't know, and it has been 2 years. The one answer I do have though, social life. A lot of my social life was thanks to the exits I had. So let's kind of walk through them. My first semester, it was COVID. You will see a bunch of cables because I have a lot of lights set up in my room so that this video can be great, by the way. My first semester was COVID. A lot of exits weren't happening, a lot of traditions weren't happening, and we had to kind of set them off to a new time. Our second years were struggling because this was not the UWC they were used to, and they did not know how to actually get back to that UWC. First exit, I took dance. Such a fun exit. There's a lot of wind today, and it has been kind of like that in Montezuma for a while, so I'm sorry for the sound. One with a lot of disabilities in my legs, and so dancing was dangerous for me. But Dance Ensemble 2 had one of my favorite second years in the exit. A lot of the exits I did were either my personal interest or were things that I genuinely was so interested about, such as Amnesty, IDEA, which are both social justice and equity exits for me. First semester was a lot of COVID, a lot of distancing, a lot of masking, a lot of don't go there, don't do this, don't do that, before all of you get caught in the COVID situation and we get an outbreak. Luckily, we never really had an outbreak. All of our students were fine all the time in our first semester. But I do believe that the first semester really compromised my UWC experience. I look at videos, I look at moments, and I think I wish we could do the things that my second years did, such as go out and be out together. First semester was a lot of trial and error. I had a cool friend group, and then I kind of got away from them, got a new friend group, and so on and so on. First semester I was trying to find out who I was on this campus because Gizem that came here suddenly was shy and didn't know what to do. Although there was a lot of going up and going wrong and blah blah blah, it was so much fun. Then we have my second semester. In the second semester we finally were doing things that UWC was doing, such as our welcome ceremony, which is probably the most beautiful thing I've ever seen. It is a bunch of people carrying their own flags and wearing their own national dresses, and it was genuinely so beautiful. Personally, I was so happy I got to do that in my second year, as I was part of the Dutch family and the Turkish family. Welcome ceremony is one of those beautiful days where I'm like, wow, UWC is so beautiful and it's so unique and it's so different, because how does one school get 90 different nationalities in one place at one time? Honestly, a lot has changed in the past 2 years. A big part of your UWC experience, like I said, are your exits. I was a theater leader this year after being in the improv theater last year. Improv theater is so much fun because it's just a moment where I could let my mind be loose and do whatever I felt like in that moment. Theater this year, being a leader has been so hard because I've never directed something. But honestly, the play we put on, which was a mix of Shakespeare's The Taming of the Shrew and 10 Things I Hate About You, the movie that I rewrote in directing something. Like, I love theater, I love acting, I love film, I love filmmaking and everything that is correlated to that. And my favorite thing was definitely theater as an exit this year. It was fun to create a bond between all of my actors that were so ready to be part of our exit, all of the people that were so happy to be with us in that moment. Two of my favorite exits were definitely Kitchen Angels and New Mexico Comparative Education. Both of these I would go off campus to see people and hang out with them. And honestly, within COVID, going off campus, I really loved this because we were able to just be teens and be outside and be normal, even though everything around us was kind of falling apart because of COVID. It felt like we were in a different world and we also were our project week. And project week 2021, March 2021, was honestly so much fun because there were so many people on this school I talked to, but there were also so many people I talked to and never followed up with. And with those people I was able to spend a whole week together camping or glamping or whatever you want to call it, and be together and have fun. I made a video about project week 2021. It was honestly so adorable. Then you have these things such as you know a lot and you learn a lot, but you never have learned enough. You can always learn more. And for me, coming from a Dutch country, we don't have these US holidays or these international holidays. One of my favorite moments were MLK Day or our annual conference in which we would discuss social justice issues. I don't think you can honestly understand that they're willing to explain to you what is happening. I'm a Muslim, and one of my favorite moments here was Ramadan. Ramadan last year and Ramadan this year. I'm getting closer to all of these Muslim people that are in my school, and we don't hang out a lot because we all have our own friend groups, but this one moment a day where we either break our fast together or start our fast together is so much fun, as we sit the whole night together waiting to start our fast. Then we also have Yule Ball, and honestly I love prom, I love parties, I love doing something, and for me being able to dress up is so much fun. I think about my prom last year and it was genuinely magical because it was outside, and then prom this year and it was so much easier because it was inside. Like I could wear heels, I could walk around, I could have a long dress because nobody was stepping on it. There's also a few things that UWC helped me do. I have short hair now, and before I got here I always had long hair. So let's go back to the second semester. The second semester was genuinely amazing. Like I said, we had our welcome ceremony, we had Yule Ball last year. Another thing that happened in that moment was I organized a clothing drive. It was a huge clothing swap at my school, and it was genuinely amazing because I'm someone that doesn't come from a very rich background or a financially stable background. So a lot of the times I would go thrifting back home, and being able to see that there's so many people that are willing to give away their clothing for students in need is just amazing. Then all of the clothing that we gathered towards the end of the year was being donated to our city of Las Vegas, and last year we gathered more than 100 pounds of clothing. I felt so proud in that moment because I was not sure if I would be able to create that day and would be able to actually have a good time doing that, and it was so much fun as so many people were actually interested in this. Last year in my second semester we had a wildfire, and then the whole school got evacuated to Las Vegas. We didn't really interact with the city itself, but it was interesting to see how all of these people, we were playing volleyball together, basketball together, we were sitting up, we had like a little concert moment where people could perform if they wanted to. Moments like those make me realize that UWC is just one big community, and this is actually amazing. Luckily the next day the wildfire was over and we were able to get back to our campus, but that was genuinely one of the moments I remember most from my first year, especially because it was also Ramadan, and so we were having some difficulties with trying to figure out how to fast the next day. Another thing that I did is I have very short hair now. My whole life I was scared of cutting my hair. I would even cry if someone touched my hair, and then as I grew older I would kind of go shorter, but I never really had short hair. And then last year, March 2021, April 2021, me and a friend of mine organized Bald for a Cause, and Bald for a Cause is honestly one of the things I talk about the most at the school, and it makes me so emotional because that day I went bald to raise money, and for someone that comes from a Turkish background, our hair means a lot to us, and going bald in that moment I really wanted to cry because I was like, Gizem, what have you done? But there was never a moment I was prouder of myself than going bald, like getting a buzz cut myself and seeing that 22 other people were willing to also go bald in that moment. Then after second semester I decided not to go home because maybe it was easier for me to stay in the United States. I wasn't sure if I was gonna be in the US after UWC or what I genuinely was doing after UWC. So I was like, you know what, let's stay in the US for the summer and see what summer in the US is like. So I stayed in Santa Fe, and I'm more than grateful for my host family that took me to Colorado, that took me kayaking so many times, that helped me explore Santa Fe, and that helped me get friends in Santa Fe. Because honestly, I have met several of the most amazing people this summer. It wouldn't have happened if it wasn't for my host family. The people that I met really made my summer. My summer at first looked a little bit boring, but once I met them, we were going out to eat, to parties, to concerts, just sitting together, being in a house together, and these people really became my best friends over the summer. They are people I really talk to still to this day, and I really appreciate to this day, and it was really fun to meet them. They were also doing the IB, and they were so interested in me and another friend of mine that went to UWC and our experience, and because of our cultural diversity we were able to talk to them. This summer I had an internship which I believe is the perfect internship for a UWC student with the international folk art market. I met all of these amazing people from around the world that were artists or their parents were artists, and they were trying to sell their stuff on the folk art market. My internship was from the beginning of June to the end of July, about 8 weeks, and only 2 weeks of that was the market, and it was a lot of hours. Like, there were days I was working for 14 hours a day, which it is super crazy, but they were so much fun. As I got closer to all of these people that do this professionally and work professionally, and the people that actually genuinely made my summer so amazing, as they were so willing to take me into their team and show me how to actually work within a corporate office job. My internship with IFAM, the International Folk Art Market, really broadened my perspective over several different things that happened over the summer and helped me stay calm and collective. And a lot of times I go back to my summer and think, how would Gizem in the summer solve this, and try to figure out how I can solve it now. Then we have this year. Third semester was a bunch of studying. I was so happy to meet new first years and meet new people, as COVID made it so hard for me to actually be friends with my second years. And I actually right now really adore most of them. I think our first years are an amazing class, so for the incoming firsties, you're gonna have amazing second years, and I can tell that right now. I was so excited to meet them, and third semester came and it was a lot of studying. In my first year, I wasn't really in the best place. I talk about it so happily, but I genuinely did not feel like studying, did not feel like socializing. There were so many moments that were so happy for me, but I genuinely, UWC was not it for me. And then I came back and I don't know what changed. It might have been my summer, it might have been just a new image or a new perspective on this place, but it changed a lot for me. And UWC was genuinely something else, and now I'm so happy with how it turned out and how it is in every single way. When I came back, it was a lot of studying. The first few months we did a lot of hanging out and being social, but when half October came, I just had to study college apps, assignments, IAs, EEs, all of these things that if you do the IB are so familiar with you. And it was actually not that bad to study. It was fun, and sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do, and the IB that was genuinely the most academically intense moment of my life until right now, and it was crazy. You can see that progressively as the semesters go by, my videos get less, because I feel like in the past, rather than recording my moments at this school, I've been trying to like make myself experience more. I did a lot of more assignments with my peers this year, because last year I genuinely was in a very bad place, like I said. So then to our last semester. Everyone always asks me, Gizem, are you excited to leave? And I cannot explain how excited I am to leave. Yet, this was fun, and I will miss this place dearly. I will miss my first year so much, my classmates so much. In every single way, I will miss it dearly. My last semester is honestly going so great. I'm having so much fun. This is the last few days of school. I have to have fun, you know? Ever since the last 100 days of school started, I made it a big deal to go around and visit people. And in the past 100 days, I've actually come close to so many people. These are the worst eye bags I've had in my entire life, as I do not sleep, because I'm trying to do social life and school rather than sleep. Make all three. And if you can, I am so proud of you. Like, it's not something I can do. As the weeks come by and my May exams are arriving, I have to say goodbye to social life. So that for the past month, I have done a lot of traditions, a lot of fun. I do not have a lot of videos, but it was genuinely amazing. I finished my exams. I'm genuinely happy with all of the exits I did, the people I've been able to help and stuff. I am so happy with the amount of people I've met. So many different nations, and every single day I'm learning something new, or I'm joking about someone else every single time with that person, of course. UWC has been great for me, and there's a lot of ups and downs, and if you want to hear more about it, please let me know. But this was great. My UWC experience was a home and not, and then again, and then not, and every single thing I could have asked for. When I look at it from the outside, I'm like, I'm so happy with everything that happened, and then I go through my day-to-day life here, and it feels like every day is a week and every week is a month, and it doesn't stop, and it genuinely does not. I promise you, it does not. Even in my summer, UWC just kept going. Like, it does not stop. But I'm excited for the next few days, and I hope I have been able to tell you about my UWC USA experience. A lot of ups and downs, a lot of downs, but the ups kind of made it worth it. And this is the last video on this campus, and I hope you enjoyed it.